Okay, just as an addendum to the last, I did what I said I'd do. That and a couple other little cleaning up things. Hang on a sec. The radio thing here is a fairly simple interface. This is something I have to fix this problem. I'm not sure how to fix it. The thing is, you have to register these. Now, I made that a function of TsDialog. It's with a dialog that one registers one of these controls. But if I derive private, then I get an error. I can't register them because I can't take the address of one of these things. And of course, this is what I'm trying to prevent by doing that. Not really prevent. I mean, you can go ahead and make a cast and call functions that you're not allowed to. But you have to go out of your way, and that's fine by me. The thing I'm trying to prevent is accidentally using a function that wouldn't behave properly with this particular type of control, which actually involves several windows. But it does work. One thing I maybe, well, either I can make the register a function of this, and then I can pass it through, like do a forward, or perhaps, just curious if this would work or not. Register TsDialog, register control. If that took a reference, maybe it would be okay. I'd have to change a lot. Not that much. Let me just try it though. R control. Yeah, like this, you don't find it. Suppose this was a reference instead. And now the dialog's a friend, so that's okay. If I did that, I'm curious. I just want to see if it's allowed. Get rid of this cast, and in my program, is that going to work? I just need to compile one file to see. Here. Does it allow it? No, same problem. Notice how it's put from radio control star to ref. Well, I don't have any addresses here. There's just no. You see, it tells you straight out that it's just going to turn it into a pointer. Pointer to reference exists but is inaccessible. Now, how do I get around that? Okay, well, that's fine. Let's put it back. But what I'll do is I can make that a function of control rather than dialog. And where did I change it? And then we'll do it. If this is a function of a pointer to control, then for these ones that I inherit, if I inherit a control privately, I can still allow access to the member of control, right? Where's the control H? See if that were a function of this object, then I could define the function register here and then pass that through to TsControl register this object. So that would work. But really this is fine. As I said, it works. I can just get rid of this. I've been adding and deleting snapshots during the testing. All my everything's gone back to 0. I deleted the user assist group key to start from 0. So I have a history now. Starting from day 0 or week 0, I can just maintain it and let it build as it goes along. One thing I need to add now is a way to turn that dialog back on. So I'll need an options menu selection, and which I don't have in my menu. I can add options. See, this fancy list box is another thing that I changed. I invented I wanted a fancier list box. But then, of course, the dialog complains because even though I register this list box item with the TS dialog, it doesn't recognize the name of the item. Like it's very picky. The way I've done it is in a way such that it's very picky about everything being known, right? So now I have, if it's a custom control class, don't check. But these other ones, just ensure that things are correct. Like if the class is a combo box class, then the control should be a TS combo box, right? And so on and so forth. If it's a list box, these are two possibilities. But if it's a custom thing with its own class name, then I can't, it's either going to assert or I make a catch-all, which I've done here. I made something called custom control, which you derive, if you want a custom control, derive from that of the thing that you want in the end. In this case, a list box. So this derives from TS list box, but it's not a TS list box, it's a fancy list box. And, well, I'll show you. It doesn't do much, except it's a little bit fancier. And so this is just to shut up the AS dialog from its complaints. Maybe it's a bit too strict. There's none of those assertions have ever done me any good. I've never caught a bug. Yeah, here's the fancy list box, see? It's just one of those ones similar to the icon list box with the nice rounded border thing. So that allows me to go beyond the limit here. One other thing I added is this star here. That indicates this one hasn't been saved. This has been saved. This here, it's the first one I took after clearing everything out. And that's that. Now if I exit, here's my thing. Now, as far as the code goes, here's the exit dialog. It has a radio button control, okay, which can be registered like all other control. And it's the question is always do what? In dialog log. Oh no, if I get a notify for this thing, okay, this is a toggle, right? I think I actually have a toggle function. Well, anyway, I'll check later. So if it turns on, first I enable the radio control, on or off, depending on whether or not the state of the checkbox is checked. So now it's enabled, right? And I can do the selecting back and forth, and then I set its value from something that was already in the registry. So suppose I set that to always discard, and then never ask again. I always want it to discard. So now I don't have a way of turning it back on again, so it's just going to discard always. But supposing I did have such a way to turn that dialog back on, which is all that would do is turn that to 0. And now when I click this, it should set the value of my radio control to whatever always save is set to, and that's 1. Which it did, see? And it's But as simple of an interface as you can get. To retrieve the value, you just say get value. Where do I do the get? Probably at the end here. I never actually get from the radio. I must. I have to save it into set value, and then on exit, oh yeah, here's the get value. So I set always save to get value. That's it. Nothing to the code, as you can guess. Radio control enable just simply walks through enabling all of the windows, all of the buddies, I guess. They're like buddies, all the ones in the group to on off as specified. Set value, it does a walkthrough. Returns false if it never finds a value that it sets to true. So that would mean if you tried to set the value to 3, but there were only 2 radio buttons, you should get and I should put an assert here. It shouldn't fail unless you made a mistake with your setup. And get value, there's nothing to that. It's the same walk. Notice it's duplicated code, but there's no need to go ahead and try and find a generalization for these 3 functions. That's the end of the story for radio button. The real problem, as I say, is making sure that your RC file is set up correctly. I mean, I guess it's definitely the control item has to be first in the list, right? Because it walks through until it sees another group item, right? Now, and it walks from its position using get next. Now that won't enumerate every sibling window of that control. It'll just go to the end of the sibling windows starting from control. So if there were something above that control, or that is declared ahead of it in the RC file, it'll never get reached. So that everything I said applies. It doesn't matter how you go about this. If you thought, okay, well maybe we could, have it go back to the first, right? Well, that's no good because you might hit another group item before you get back to the other item in your group. You could do a backwards walk, I suppose. If you wanted to make it so that you don't have to worry about the RC file, what you could do is, if the first one is not well, it might be, the first one will be a group. Fair enough. But you could walk backwards looking for radio buttons. What if you hit another group of radio buttons? Right? How do you know if it belongs with your set? How do you know if those buttons belong with your set or a different set, right? I don't think it's too difficult. I wouldn't try to fix that. Just make sure that first one listed in the RC file, which is the order of creation of windows, right? The order that these controls are listed in here is the order of creation. So a walk, get first window, get next. For sibling windows in our dialog, we'll discover these items exactly in the way that they're listed in the RC file. Okay, and that's got nothing to do with tab order. Tab order is something else. You can change the tab order. That won't modify this. I don't think it modifies this. You can try. Well, in any event, it's not going to help in this case because these things don't have a tab. Only the first one possibly might have a tab style, but not all of them. Well, I suppose you could. There's something else about. I don't know how the tab thing works. Okay, well, anyway, that's it. Just thought I'd show you. There's nothing to it. And I don't know what to do next, but I'll think of something.